It's been a thorn in John's side for a long time. The guy didn't waste any time in terms of withdrawing all of the Nike products from Amazon.
Nike was never happy about having to be there, but they felt like in a certain case, they needed to be there. So that's what led to that relationship. And of course, clearly they felt it isn't worth the effort.
We're going to start off with looking at the Nike news that you may have heard about last week, where they have a new CEO, John Donahoe, who used to be the head of eBay. And you can appreciate that John understands a thing or two about marketplaces. And basically, the guy didn't waste any time in terms of withdrawing all of the Nike products from Amazon.
Right. I don't think he's officially started yet, right? He's not officially taken on the post yet, but is basically the CEO to be, and they're already pulling out. So making moves pretty quickly.
I think maybe he was on their board or something, or
yeah,
I feel like
he's been involved.
He was on the board. Yeah, he was involved.
But he's not yet the active CEO of the company.
Clearly, it's been a thorn in John's side for a long time. So the interesting thing to note, when Amazon did get Nike to come on board, they made a lot of concessions they would normally never make with a manufacturer. Traditionally, you see that the marketplace model is that you get access to fragmented supply from distributors. Think about them as like the wholesalers, the middlemen between the manufacturer and the retailers. And that's how you get access to this fragmented supply, because the marketplace isn't going to the manufacturers at the onset, just because the manufacturers either don't want to deal with small order sizes, they don't want to deal with all the infrastructure required, they don't want to basically turn off and annoy all of their distributors, right? So manufacturers are not the initial entry point that a marketplace would typically try to go and capture supply from. That happens as like a phase 2 or a phase 3. So basically, Amazon gets scale from other distributors first. It gets supply. People were selling Nike shoes on Amazon illegitimately, basically.
It was a gray market or Nike would probably maybe even use more harsh terms than that, like a black market for Nike goods that weren't sold by licensed distributors, weren't authorized to resell these products.
Probably some were fake, some were genuine.
Right.
The customer suffered, but Amazon would have Nike products on it.
Right. If you search Amazon, Nike stuff comes up, even if Nike's not there.
Not the best supply, but some supply. So Amazon said, okay, Nike, come on board. We will take off all other products. The only products on Amazon will be from Nike.
Right.
And they're
going to control this gray market. From a Nike point of view, it's kind of like extortion. Like, it's going to be here regardless. Why don't you come play and we'll give you some tools? Right,
to take it down. Now, actually, Amazon doesn't even offer that up to many other manufacturers. This was honestly like a sweetheart deal for Amazon to come that far to get Nike on board.
A big retailer to join.
Yep. So Nike obviously has its own retail stores, its own e-commerce. I mean, Nike has invested significant resources in owning the customer relationship. So they were probably saying, hey, we're making concession as well to capitulate and actually put some inventory on Amazon. They probably were never putting the full catalog on Amazon, but at least they'd said, we want to clear up the black market on Amazon.
Clear presence. I can tell you definitely Nike was never happy about having to be there. But they felt like in a certain case, they needed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what led to that relationship. And of course, clearly they felt it isn't worth the effort.
So here's my prediction. My prediction that I would say by the end of 2020, Nike buys one of the secondhand marketplace sneaker companies.
GOAT or StockX.
GOAT, StockX. I'd probably put my money on StockX. I think StockX is like a hair ahead of GOAT in terms of GMV, in terms of like the really hardcore sneakerheads that I know. This is anecdotal. Always prefer StockX over GOAT.
Doesn't StockX also have like a relationship with Flight Club, or is that GOAT?
GOAT took over Flight Club.
Okay. That's in New York. It's
GOAT
a big
took $100 million from Foot Locker.
Right.
StockX was started by Dan Gilbert,
Yep.
who owns the Cavs and Quicken and all these things.
Right.
And Nike, although really more so because of Dan and the Cavs, when LeBron was on the Cavs, it was actually, I think, the first sneaker launch directly on the marketplace. And we were playing a video with the CEO of StockX a couple weeks ago. What he was saying is he views, if you're familiar with like Dutch auctions or basically the direct listings on the stock market, he wants to basically do that and bring that model to StockX, where sneakers and sneaker manufacturers are releasing the sneaker directly onto the market, and then the market sets the price.
Right.
And so you kind of get away from this whole idea of, oh, well, it retails for $200. Then on the secondary market, it goes for $500. But you just let the market figure out the price for it, which is essentially what a direct listing is, rather than an IPO process, as we've covered on the show before. So I think John loves marketplaces. Clearly, he understands network effects very well. I mean, what share of the secondhand marketplace industry does Nike, are comprised of Nike products? Probably at least half.
Yeah, between the
like
main
Yeezys
brands and
but now I guess the
Jordans
designers like the
and-
Balenciagas and all those are coming in.
right. But if I'm Nike, why wouldn't I want to own a piece of that too? Because
Right.
that gives me access to up and coming designers, and I can start to build this community, which will only benefit my core business.
I think that's some of what you're seeing. You're starting to see other manufacturers come into, at least at the high end of the market,
right.
come into that market by partnering up with a celebrity or being a big fashion design house like Dior.
Yeah.
And making a sneaker. It's not that hard to make a sneaker. It's more
from a strictly product point of view. Yeah, a lot of it is
the prestige, is
marketing
the design
and branding,
right?
Which is part of what Nike does really well.
Yep. So that's my prediction. In the next 13 and a half months, Nike buys most likely StockX, maybe GOAT, but I think Foot Locker probably has some, right of first refusal or some provisions in there. So it wouldn't be as clean. So that's why I think they buy StockX. But at least, and it doesn't have to be those two. It could be like Stadium Goods, but I think Nike's going to buy the leader, which to me seems like StockX. So we'll see. We'll see. Hi, this is Alex from Winner Take All. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to leave a comment, ask us questions, and definitely make sure to join us on our next live stream.